Hello.
Yo, yo, yo.
Welcome to Mom Needs a Minute.
Meow, bitches.
I'm Emily.
I'm
Okay.
Chelsea.
Meow, bitches. And yeah, like I said, this is Mom Needs a Minute.
Mom needs a
God,
minute.
one of these times I'm gonna be okay with I'm gonna figure it out.
No, we're not. No, we're not. It's the fun of it.
All right, fair enough.
You know, we just gotta start showing our true colors and not actually be organized as shit. Or half organized.
Well, arguably, I think that's why we went from 1 week or every week to every other week. I think that shows our lack of organization just enough.
Yeah, we're getting there though. It's almost back to the we could do every week thing.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
Yeah, we're getting there because my kids are definitely they're falling out of their busy sports seasons and stuff. And
yeah. Or at least the ones that are outside. Because the ones, the sports inside,
yeah.
we could at least write.
Yeah, I think that say come the first of the year, after all the holidays are done, I think that after all the holidays are done, I think that we can definitely look at going back to
I
say every
agree.
week instead of every other.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do think that we need a little bit longer, but we're definitely getting closer to catching back up, I think.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Me too.
So.
Me too. All right.
So why do you need a minute, Chels?
Mine's actually, I had another one earlier and I frickin' forgot it. But, so, the other day, it's not even why I need a minute. I just find it really interesting. The other day, Michael comes to me and goes, do you want to know what, scientific research con there is or whatever to having a black cat? For some reason, he's obsessed with Oliver being a black cat. I don't know.
You're obsessed with Oliver being a black cat too, though.
I'm just obsessed with him in general, but Michael has this thing.
He's such a good boy. He's such a good boy.
I know, he's over there minding his own business, sleeping like a normal cat. Unlike BK.
Just being the most handsome little guy ever.
He is. He's the best titty tat. My baby. He is. He's been really snuggly.
Ooh. Lola gets snuggly if I'm not feeling well. So
there you go. I don't know. I'm always mentally ill, so it doesn't really matter. He just knows that by now. What do you think I got him?
Okay. As if I'm not. Well, you named him Olive, so.
You know what? Yeah, I still need 400 minutes for that. That still hurts.
Sweet baby Olive.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, so do you want to know what the con was?
Yeah.
I said there was none because having a black cat is the most amazing thing in the world.
Correct.
But the con is that you can't fucking see them, so they're easily hurt or killed. And I'm like, I have never not seen Oliver. But then Nolan had to prove me incorrectly. You know how we have black couch covers?
Yep.
Well, Oliver here was sleeping, minding his own damn business on the couch right next to Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Nolan, I don't know why he did this. Fucking throws his iPad on Oliver because he didn't see him. And Michael looks at me and goes, "No, I lied. I was in the kitchen." And Michael goes, "Come here." And I was like, "Okay, why?" And then he looks at Nolan and goes, "Nolan, tell Mom what you just did." And then he told me that, and he goes, "I told you cats get injured because they're not seen." Yeah.
It makes sense, though. They're like little void creatures.
No, it doesn't. No, I can always find him in his little eyeballs.
Well, yeah, but if they're in a shadow or something, it's definitely harder to find them if you don't know that they're there, or if they don't want you to see them.
He is too lazy to hide. He just lays places.
Well, that's why he's black.
Fair enough.
It's built in.
That is true. I actually find myself thinking objects are him more than not seeing him.
The number of, like, TikToks that I've seen where people are like, "Okay, let's help me find my cat," and it's like they've got black bedding or something, and you, like, are looking at their bedding, and it's like all of a sudden the cat is, like, up in the corner or something.
Yep.
It's like, "Well, shit, I never would have looked up there."
Yep, like that snap I sent you today. I honestly didn't know he
Yes,
was there for the
yes,
entire time I was home until I looked around and I was
yes.
like,
Yeah, no,
"You little
definitely.
turd."
Definitely, thank God. Like, sometimes, like, oh my God. Okay, first of all, Ollie is such a beautiful, beautiful boy.
Oh, he knows
He's
it.
beautiful. I know he does. I make sure to tell him every single time I see him. He's
My
such a
big
beautiful
baby.
boy. But I don't have a black cat. I don't have a solid colored cat.
You don't.
I have, the closest that I have is Narcissa because she's
Yes.
gray. And and she's like fully gray except she's got the like star on her chest
Yeah,
that's white. But
yeah.
so she would be the easiest, I would think, to say hide because she's essentially one color,
Yeah.
right? And so I think like a black cat like Ollie would be really easy to hide because he's one color versus my calico. She's just a bitch, but if she wanted to hide, I don't think she could,
I
you know,
no. No. No.
versus say Narcissa who
She does hide.
potentially could. Yeah. She could potentially because she's almost solid.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yep. So apparently that is a scientific fact that black cats are easily killed or injured because you cannot see them. And was not I was not believing that until Nolan threw his iPad on the cat. And I hate when Michael is proven correct.
well, like I said, I guess I wouldn't have believed that either. But then after I thought about it, like I said, with Narcissa being entirely gray, yeah, I could see them kind of like, say, hiding or like it being harder to like see them, say, on a couch or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like Meatloaf is the one that hides the most. The other day
Of course he
couldn't
does.
we couldn't fucking find him. And now
What
no.
happened to my baby meatball?
Oh shush. I don't know where he was, but he came out eventually when we were looking for him. Somewhere by Sassy's kennel. I don't know. But yeah, Michael is now scared of Meatloaf hiding in the couch.
Oh, because of my
Yep.
reason to need a minute.
Yep. 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 Meatloaf was trying to hide in the couch cover and Michael was like, "Nope. Nope." Yep.
Meatball is a lot bigger,
Yeah,
if
but in
that
Michael's eyes,
helps.
he's not. Michael loves that cat more than he will ever admit it.
Mhm.
He let him like sit on the counter the other day, and I was like, "What are you doing? You yell at all the other cats." He's hungry.
Oh, little
He's
meatball.
licking our dirty dishes.
He's my meatball. He's my meatball.
He is your meatball. He
He's
is
your meatloaf.
something fierce. He's a wolf. But yeah, but now we had to change like, the food meatloaf to a different name because every time I say, "Hey, I'm making meatloaf for dinner," Michael goes, "Oh, I'm gonna
What do
miss
you
him."
call meatloaf now?
Meat
Meat.
chunk.
That is the
Mhm.
least appetizing thing I've ever
Mhm.
heard in my life. That's horrible.
Oh
Meat
yeah,
chunk?
but it's better than
God, that's
it's it's
horrible.
better, it's better than thinking we're eating our cat.
Meat chunk?
Michael came up with it. I don't fucking know. I'm just going with it.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah, I know. It
I
makes
would
sense.
literally, if that was my option, it was either I'm cooking meatloaf and it's pretending to be the cat or meat chunk. I would never make meatloaf again in my life.
Oh, that's Nolan's favorite meal.
Gross. Your
Mhm.
child. I know it's his. Listen, I know your kid. I know these
No,
are his
I know.
favorite things, but oh my God, I want to smack him so much because it's like, that's disgusting. No. Can I make you a cheeseburger? Or,
Oh, he loves those too.
oh, I know he does, but I'm just saying,
But a good old
meatloaf.
meatloaf is definitely he eats most of it.
Ugh. No. Oh my God, no. It's like, what was I saying? Chicken pot pie. the other day
Yeah.
where I was like, "No, we
Gross.
fucking love it." And you're like, "That's disgusting." I feel like
I don't.
meatloaf
Ugh.
is the opposite version of that right now.
Yep. I'm trying to think if I don't think Kendall even likes pot pies. I don't know what my mother did to us growing up when she made it, but it traumatized us. Same
Jesus.
with chicken chow mein.
Kendall,
Yeah.
Kendall, Kendall, if you have any idea as to what happened with these chicken pot pies, you let me know and I will bring you a well-made chicken pot pie that is not going to
Oh God.
traumatize you.
I don't know what it is, but
Chicken
I
pot
haven't.
pie
I
is such a comfort food for me and my family. So, if
oh, give me
Kendall,
nudes.
you want
I'm gonna
nudes?
text Kendall.
Kendall, if you want me to make you a chicken pot pie that's not traumatizing, Kendall, you call me anytime, day or night, and I will drive it down to you. We love you,
Okay,
babe.
I'm gonna ask
Team.
her. Okay.
Oh, actually, speaking of, it's October. It's October,
Still October. Yeah.
which is still
Breast
Breast
cancer
Cancer
awareness.
Awareness Month.
So
So
everybody with boobies go.
check if you have breast tissue, which literally everybody does.
Sure
Every
do.
single person does. Check your boobies. Check them. Keep
It's
an
like
eye on that.
it's making to second base. You know, you could just be like, "Hey, I need you to check me for breast cancer," and then you get to second base that way.
Grab your own
Perfect.
boobies. Grab your
It's a
own boobies.
win.
Because sometimes
That
grabbing your
too.
own boobies is like just as satisfying.
It is.
You know,
Mm,
check your.
yeah.
Every single person has breast tissue.
Check them out.
Check it out. So it's almost to the end of October now. So Breast Cancer Awareness Month is almost over, but it shouldn't be because everybody
It,
should be
yeah.
more aware of it all year long. But
Yeah. Nope.
check it out. Check it out.
Do
Chelsea
it
is,
again.
yep, Chelsea's going to put all the, um, like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'll share that link again.
Yeah, all of the links as far as
I think I just did the main one with all the information on like how to check and all of that. I'll link that again in the show notes.
like I said, it's just the last day of October. So we want to really use this tiny little platform that we have in order to bring as much awareness to it as we can. Oh God, did Kendall text you back?
She did. I was wrong.
What did she say?
She goes, I love chicken pot pie, but nobody else in the family likes it. Oh.
Kendall! Tell her, Kendall, I will make you chicken pot pie every single day.
Oh God.
I love chicken pot pie. Her and I can sit there and eat it every day. But yeah, so we will have links as far as how to check yourself, how to check others, places that you could donate your time, donate your like say donate money to, donate all of that to, resources for all of that because every single person, male or female, everybody can get breast cancer
Mhm.
and
It does not. Breast cancer does not discriminate.
yep. And so we have this very tiny little platform that we've got right now the few the few listeners that we have, but regardless, we would like to still give out the information
Yeah.
and spread that as far as we can.
Yep. And sometimes it's actually nice. Sometimes it's nice to look within your communities too, and there is more than likely posts around of people who have
Mhm.
like fundraisers and stuff like that, or what are they called?
Like a GoFundMe
I'm blanking. Yeah, I'm trying to. God, I don't know. I can't think of the word right now. But look around your community. There
or
could
like
be
a
somebody
benefit.
who. That word. Yep, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, there could be somebody in your area that needs the help too, not just a big foundation or.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, and absolutely, if you see somebody struggling in your own community, like, we will put in our show notes, we'll put the big, like, say,
Yep.
national things,
That's
but
yeah,
if
that's
you
what I did last time.
yep, but if you see somebody in your community struggling or going through this situation, and God, we all know that the American healthcare system is rough, so help somebody in your
Sucks.
community kind of help to fight it, or, you know, just whatever, but make sure you are checking yourself, making sure you are doing what you can to be healthy, and then make sure that you are doing what you can to support those around you, because we are not enemies of our neighbors, regardless of like your political beliefs or whatever. You're not your neighbor's enemy. So just offer up,
We're all trying to make it through.
exactly, offer up a dinner or, $40 for whatever. Like, just
Yeah. Just kind words of support
exactly,
sometimes helps too.
just sit with somebody and watch, uh oh my god, just watch like Jeopardy and kind of guess with each other. Like, just be a neighbor, just be a good person, just be a neighbor.
Yeah. And I know my when my sisters were going through it, sometimes it was hard to have somebody there for them when they're doing chemo,
Yep.
which chemo is hours. And if, offer that,
Mhm.
you're not doing something the day they have chemo, offer up to drive them there and just sit with them and talk.
Mhm.
I know that was one really hard part for my sisters is having to do chemo by themselves.
Mhm.
It just isn't fun.
Oh,
So,
yeah. No, absolutely. I can't imagine. So, we're we are going to continue to always, always, always be on specifically the breast cancer soapbox, but cancer in general. We're going to be
yeah,
way up
cancer is
there.
nasty.
Yep. And so, just in general, we're going to be on the breast cancer train. We're going to continue to encourage you to reach out to those in your community and offer just a kind word or
Yep.
anything, because these people that are suffering with this, even just these people, like, they're your neighbor, they're your friend, they're
Yeah.
your sister, they just, your support means a lot to them. So,
Yeah. Just having people out there
mhm.
is comforting.
So, it's October, it's breast cancer awareness month. Team Kendall forever.
All day, every day. Why? Do we want to? Why do you need a minute?
Okay, so, we had two kittens, and so we had two kittens, and we had,
We did mention he was MIA, by the way, in last episode. Yep, we
did we?
mentioned it.
Okay, perfect. So we had the two kittens, Reese's and Oreo, and in the last episode, I guess, you heard Reese's was MIA. I found him. So I had walked into the garage to put something down. And that day, after it had been so long, I decided I needed to call the vet and cancel Reese's appointments for his updated vaccines and then to get fixed. Because I had appointments for him for both. And so I decided I need to call the vet, cancel these so they can, refill them or something.
Yeah.
And I'm on the phone with the vet, putting my like, I don't know, box or whatever it was down in the garage. And all of a sudden they pick up and they're like, "Hi, this is the vet. How can we help you?" And I said, "Hey, I have two appointments that I need to cancel, but two appointments that I need to keep, right? Like, I need to
Yeah.
keep Oreos, but I have to." And they were like, "Okay, can you tell us anything about like when they were or whatever?" And I said, I don't know when they are right now. Like, off the top of my head, I couldn't. And so I'm just wondering, around my garage because I don't want the boys to hear me
Yeah.
being like, we have to cancel this because I'm pretty sure something took him and he's dead. So they're like, okay, cool. What's your name then? And we'll like look it up. And I said, my name is, Emily and whatever. And they found the appointments that I had for the babies, and they were like, okay, so we have Oreo and Reese's scheduled at this time for this day for this, their boosters, and then this time and this day for both of them to be fixed. And I'm like, yep, that's perfect. Please cancel both for Reese's. And as I'm on the fucking phone canceling them, I found him. And so I'm trying really hard not to just lose my fucking mind and burst into tears and scream because I was really hoping we would find him alive.
Me too.
And when I found him, it looked like, and I'm not saying anything about my dogs. I don't think my dogs had anything to do with this, but it looked like, say, a little stuffed animal, like a little teddy bear that that one of my dogs may have gotten a hold of, right? And like snuck into this couch, right? It looked like it looked like a teddy bear.
Yeah.
So I found him, and it wasn't a teddy bear. Never in my life have I wanted the dogs to destroy one of the boys' toys so much in my life. So I sat there for like a half an hour, just hoping that I could see his like ear flick or something, like a fly was bothering him just enough to let his ear flick or something.
Yeah. Like,
So I sat there for like a half an hour just watching, just hoping that he would twitch just a little bit. I knew he wasn't going to, but I really, really hoped for it.
yeah. Rest in peace, little buddy.
So rip Reese's.
Pork chop.
And it was my idea to leave the door open between the garage and the mudroom where they were being at the time. And I left that open because we want Reese's and Oreo to be outdoor cats. So we wanted them to kind of get used to, say, being outside a little bit and whatever. And so I thought being in the garage with the dogs would be a good little introduction to that. Because I know my dogs would never do anything to hurt the cats. Like, like, my dogs would never. And so I thought, and I know for a fact to this day, I know for a fact that even my big ass German Shepherd, he will not hurt a kitten. He would not hurt a kitten. He would not hurt a fly. No, my big ass German Shepherd, unless he thinks that we're under attack, like if he thinks that something is going to happen to me or the boys or Patrick, it's a different game. But as far as the kitten goes, no, at best he's gonna bop at it like he's playing with it and he's like, oh, fall over. But
But I don't think he would even do that.
oh, he would, but it would be like very playful, like, oh, I got you, flip. And then you flip over and he's like,
Yeah.
I got, he plays. And so I really trusted that the kittens were going to be okay. And Oreo was completely fine. And I think what happened with Reese's was he crawled onto the couch. And I think that what he did was get stuck between the couch and the cushion. And then I think Max laid on the
Yeah.
couch. So, or Reese's couldn't get out. And so,
Honestly, he may not have even done that. Kittens are so small and so flexible, and they can get in anywhere. It could have happened even inside.
one way or the other, no, one way or the other, he suffocated in the couch. And
Yeah.
we know that. We know that. he suffocated in the couch under the cushions and stuff, and that really sucks. And so I know it's not my fault, but I still, because I was the one that like left the door open, and I was the one that like let them kind of,
Yeah.
I feel really, really guilty. And so I've been trying really in the last couple weeks to kind of talk myself out of, it's not my fault. I didn't do it on purpose. Like nothing. I let them in a
Yeah.
situation where they should have been fine, and they were fine, and just an odd freak accident kind of happened. But
Yeah.
yeah,
What, like I said, it happened inside. It could have happened when you guys were home.
yeah,
It it's not anyone's
yeah.
fault. It's
No,
just
but
and
it still sucks because
they were gonna be farm
I
kittens.
know it's
So eventually they're gonna go outside and be exposed to all of the nature, and it just, you know,
one of the things that really does suck though is like now that we found Reese's and whatever, Patrick has felt really bad for Oreo, and so he's like, okay, you're staying inside until spring now. But so every time Oreo is like bopping around having his time of his life, I keep thinking, well, your brother should sit there and be bopping around with you, and I should have two babies
but
bopping around.
if you think about it, when people have kittens and they get rid of those kittens, most of the time they don't go
Oh,
together.
no, I know.
It's the
Oh,
same
God, no. Trust
it's the
me, I
same
know.
thing.
Trust me, I know. I'm not feeling like I'm feeling some sort of way about it. I feel really guilty about it, but it's like not that I'm like, oh, they can't be together, but it's like I had him and his brother, and then this happened, and now
Yeah.
I don't have him and his brother, so he's just bopping around by himself. So it's like,
Yeah, but he's fucking living his best life,
God
man.
damn. I
He
have
is living
never seen a cat have Patrick wrapped around their
boy,
finger the way that Oreo has.
boy cats. I swear to fucking God, boy cats.
Oreo
Boy
has
cats. 100%. Why do
Patrick.
you think Michael's obsessed with Meatloaf? Meatloaf has Michael wrapped around his
It's
finger.
insane because,
The cats they didn't want.
yeah, exactly. Because, like,
It's what it is.
Patrick is always telling me we can't have more than 3 cats living in the house. And now with Oreo, we have 4. With Reese's, it would have been 5. But now, now with
But
Reese's
they
gone,
actually would have went
now
outside
with
if
Reese's gone, Patrick is like feeling sorry for Oreo, I think, because it's like obviously like his
yeah,
brother and whatever. And so it's like now he's like, well, instead of
yeah.
like setting them outside now for the winter, maybe he can like live inside for the winter, and then we put him out in the spring.
It's not,
So,
he's not going
well,
outside.
no, he has to because
Not a chance.
I'm only allowed to have 3 cats inside before I get my Maine Coon.
Just wait for somebody to die, you'll be fine. You can't push him outside after being inside for that many months, man. It's not gonna go well, I
He's
can
the
tell you that right
sweetest baby
now.
boy ever to exist.
Yeah,
He's
you will tear him apart if you let him like sit outside.
We take him outside. No,
You'll
we
feel
take him
worse.
outside every time we go outside. If we're in the garage or in the shop.
Yeah, but if you all of a sudden were like, bye, slam the door
Well,
shut,
no,
you're an outside
that's
cat
why we
now.
take him outside every time we go out there. Just we want him to get kind of used to it.
Can't he be an indoor outdoor cat? Is that a thing now? Do people still do that?
I tried to ask Patrick if he could, but
I mean, Trista does.
she does
I don't
not
know
do
if
it
she
on
does it
purpose.
on
I was gonna say
purpose,
I don't
but
think she does it on purpose. I think what is it? Is it potato
no,
or
she'll,
tart?
yeah, it's potato.
It's potato.
No, it's
That
potato.
is like, I am an outdoor
Hmm.
cat, and Trista's like, dude, you're really not.
She brings him outside to have outside time, and then he just runs off.
Because he's a fucking psycho. Yeah. I
I
love
love him.
potato. I
I
love
love
potato.
I love her kittens.
If you're not aware, our friend, one of 3 of us, we are
That would be it. Never mind.
our friendly group chat. It's me, Chelsea, and our other friend Trista, and Trista has cats named Tart and Potato.
Kiko.
Kiko.
Kiko,
Oh God,
what's the small Pee-wee?
Trista, don't be mad at us. You have 7 cats at this point.
She does have 7. I don't know her older ones' names. I just know the kittens. It's Potato, Tart, Kiko, Pee-wee, and after that I'm done. So I know that Kiko and
Either way,
Pee-wee
potato,
are Meatloaf
potato.
siblings.
Listen, there's under no circumstance should any of us be allowed to name cats because my cats are named Lola because she's a princess.
That's normal.
Myrtle
That's not normal.
because we found her when she was like in heat, and so we called her Moaning Myrtle, like Harry Potter, and so she's just Moaning Myrtle, the fucking crazy ass ghost. Narcissa, who is also a Harry Potter reference. And now we have Oreo and Reese's, which is fine. Our other outdoor cats are named Microwave.
Which was Trista or
Yeah.
was it
Boots.
Trista?
Yeah, or Tana. Boots is
Yeah.
fine. And then Tuck. Listen, we only see Tuck once, maybe every other week. And his name is not Tuck, Tucker, Tuck, nothing. No. His name is supposed to be Stuck. But he was named by a 3-year-old
Oh
who could not
yeah.
pronounce the S. And so his name is Stuck.
What
And
what color is he?
he's mostly white. He's got some black spots on him. He's
I'm trying to
fucking
figure
huge.
out how the
He's fucking
well,
huge.
that ain't Meatloaf's dad, that's for damn sure, because oof.
No, because Meatloaf's
Yeah,
dad,
it is Microwave Boots.
Meatloaf's mom and dad come and get dinner from me every single goddamn day.
Yeah.
And if they
They're so
don't, no,
sweet.
okay, you know how they sit on the back deck there? If we don't
Mhm.
feed them, they come and sit on the like arm thing right here so they can
Oh
look
yeah.
into the fucking living room.
Bitches feed
Yeah,
me.
because the
Mhm.
like arm thing here,
Yep.
you can see into the fucking living room. So they sit there
Oh,
and
I
they'll
know.
stare at you and you can just hear them go, "Arr!" And you're like, good damn, did we forget to pay pest control today? Because good night.
I love it. I love seeing them because I see so much Meatloaf in them. It is like really weird that you can actually like like he's a cat. So like I can look at them and I'm like, "Holy shit."
It is. It's like one of those things where it's like you can tell which trait you get from your mom or your dad, or your kid gets
Yeah.
from their mom and their dad, or
Mhm.
whatever. And it's like, oh my god, I can see my cat's mom and dad.
Yeah. His
Ah,
mom is so small just like him
she's a
and his dad
peanut.
is so sweet just like
He,
him.
oh my god, Microwave is the sweetest kitty.
He is.
Oh, he's such a sweet kitty.
He's like it's just like Meatloaf though.
It always
Ugh,
feels
oh
weird
my
when I have to say, "What are your cat?" Or like when somebody's like, "Oh, you have cats," and I'm like, "Yeah, I have 6 or 7 now." Oh, what are their names? And I'm like, Lola, Myrtle, Narcissa, Oreo, kind of normal. Microwave.
I'm so sad you didn't keep going with the fucking appliances.
Literally, when the boys decided to name Oreo and Reese's, I was really hoping that they would go for something more random like microwave or, vacuum cleaner or dishwasher or something. But they
See,
didn't.
if I would have known, or if we would have known what Meatloaf's parents' names were, we definitely would have piggybacked off of that. Meatloaf would probably be oven right now,
Okay.
or refrigerator,
I was just
or
going to ask.
apparently, Michael, it probably would have been light bulb. That was
I
his.
like
That was the
light
runner
bulb.
up.
I like light bulb. I do like microwave because we can't call him Mike.
Yeah.
So we do call him Mike most of the time. He does get some fun nicknames. I call him
Yeah.
Michael
BK
J.
does too.
I call him Michael J. Fox a lot. Or
I love that you. It doesn't even make sense, but it makes sense in your own head, and nobody else has. It doesn't even matter.
or or he gets he oh god. Or Boots is Rudy Tooty whiny booty a lot because she sits out there and whines, and so she's whiny booty.
Seems fitting.
Mhm. It's
Oh my
God,
god.
they just you can't come up with like a good solid name. One name is not one name. essentially.
No, meatloaf has like a million different names that don't even make sense. Whatever. But we've been literally talking for 40 minutes, so we
Oh God.
probably should get into
Oh
this.
shit.
I just looked at the time and I'm like,
I'm
sorry guys.
well, like I said, I'm
It's
down to
been a
sit.
while.
I'm down to sit here and talk about cats for hours,
I
and
literally
I
could
didn't
I
even
could
think
talk
about
about
it.
cats all day. We have how many cats to talk about?
Well,
Way too many.
I have 4, and you have. Well, I have 6, and you have 4, and Trista has
Yeah.
a dozen. I don't fucking know.
We need
So
4, 5, 6. Yeah, she has 7. Because she has a
yeah,
3, and then she added the 4. Oh, wait, no. Tana got one, didn't she?
and then they've got the
She
dog,
has 8!
and then they got the dog, and the hedgehog, and the lizard, and the
And then
fish,
fish.
and the fish for Noxie. Trista, if
Oh
you're
my
listening,
god. How do
you're
you
a
do it?
goddamn champ. And Trista, if you're
Do you want
listening,
BK?
she already doesn't. She's already said she doesn't. Trista, we need like a
I'm
name.
trying.
If you could send us like an alphabetical list of these goddamn
Spreadsheet.
critters. Yeah, spreadsheet. Send it to Chelsea because I don't know how to work a spreadsheet. But
No, you're gonna have to send it to Patrick because I don't either.
all right. Well,
I need
we
to make
need
it to
names.
mine.
We need names. We need species.
We need ages.
We need it all. Coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee's a fucking moose.
Coffee's an easy one to remember though.
Yeah, coffee /
It's
ghost
easy.
moose. Ghost moose.
She has quite the large bark out of her though. I didn't expect that.
How did you not expect it? She weighs as much as my car.
I haven't seen her in person.
Coffee
One day when I
literally
lost
weighs as much as my fucking car.
I
She
believe
wants to
that.
get mad at you.
Well,
She's going to get mad at you. She's a pumpkin. She's a peanut. She's never going to get mad at anybody, but she weighs as much as my goddamn car. She's a beast.
yeah, and she sounds mean. Okay,
Kind of like Max, though. Okay.
showtime.
Wait. All right, Chels, do you want
Yes.
me to finally tell you a fucking story? So I wanted to find one that was kind of spooky, Halloweeny, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I found a haunted place.
Okay.
How do you feel about a haunted mine?
Huh. Those aren't like something that goes to my mind right away, actually, so that is unique.
I feel like haunted mines like just make sense in my head. Like it's a mine, oh, of course it's haunted. You know what I mean?
I don't think about them. You know, I think of like hospitals and shit. I don't think of mines.
All right, well, I got a mine, which
Well,
includes like 2 different
mime.
towns and yeah, it includes 2 different towns too. So
Okay.
no, that's a mime.
I know. I just said that.
MIME. You're a dumbass. So,
Hey, I'm a cat. Meow.
is there a way for me to end this call really quick and just like call this a day or
Just give everybody 40 minutes of us ranting.
bye guys, that's all it was.
20 minutes of
That's
them about
it.
cats.
And I had a story about a mine. Goodbye, Chelsea. Ruined it for everybody.
Oh, you're saying mine, not mime. Okay.
Oh
I'm
my
just
god,
fucking
how
with
weird is
you.
that? It's almost like I said that
I
35 times earlier. No.
I heard ya. But for some
You are the
reason,
fucking
a
worst.
haunted mime sounds pretty interesting. Okay, let's listen to this
That
mine.
sounds horrifying.
It
honestly.
does. It
That's
does.
horrifying.
Let's do this.
All right. So, born November 21st, 1819, Johannes Henricus Wickenberg was born in Essen, Holterhausen, Prussia, which is like modern day Germany.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
1800s, but it's modern day Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Essen, where he was born, was the location of the first like cast steel factory in 1810. And this led to Essen becoming the cornerstone for the largest mining enterprises in Europe for decades at the time. Okay. So living in and around this area at the time, like mining and all of this is very common, very natural. It's like this is kind of their life, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not surprising in any way that the people here are essentially born and bred miners, right?
Yeah.
So the factories became extremely important at this time. So Johannes, our main character at the time, goes by Henry, right? Because Henry. So while growing up, Henry and his brother were very interested in this whole mining situation. What?
Kendall's getting really into the pot pie thing. Sends me a whole ass picture and then the caption. Those are my jam.
Tell Kendall I made one of those for myself for lunch this afternoon.
Oh, dear God, help me. Anyway.
Kendall, if she doesn't tell you, I made one for myself for lunch this afternoon. They're fantastic. They're my favorite too.
She goes,
I will come to you.
besides they are fucking terrible for you, so I never buy them, but I could literally eat one every single day. Oh, gross. Yeah.
Same girl. I'll come there and I will make you a homemade one. And it's going to be delicious and we're going to love it and we can keep Chelsea out of it.
Thank you. Keep me away from that.
It's just that Kendall loves me more than she loves you, I think. Or I love Kendall more than you love her. So one way or the other.
Okay, just because I disagree on a food item. Rude.
Yeah, well.
So gross. God, you guys are weird.
Nope.
It's a pie full of vegetables and chicken.
I think that's the point.
Give me a fucking apple pie, not a chicken vegetable pie.
No. Chicken pot pie all day, all night.
How about a spaghetti pie? Yeah, I'm on to something now. Looks
all right,
pretty
next
ridiculous
time you come
coming
out
out
here.
of my mouth, dressed like a cat, but here we are.
Next time you come here, we'll make spaghetti pie. Okay. So, Henry and his brother were like born and raised in mining country, right? So they were like very used to digging and finding things. Like even as children, they would dig through their yard and say find a cool rock or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so they were very interested in this. It came to the point where they began finding things that were actually valuable, like coal. So they began to mine their own coal kind of off their own land, right? Like their kids still on their own land. They got shovels and shit, whatever, but they're mining coal off of their own land. As children, I think that's pretty fucking cool, by the way. Right.
Yeah.
So this starts to become a problem. Because obviously it fucking does. So, by the 1840s, war. Shit's going sideways, okay? War. Bad things. And they've been searching and finding all of this coal and shit on their own land, but now the war is like the German or the Prussian government is like, hey, you stop that. That's enough. And so they got in trouble for continuing to mine this coal off of their own land, which I think is silly. But, who am I to say? Because, late 1800s, early 1900s, Germany is not something that I would really want to fuck with, but here we are. So,
yeah,
a lot of political upheaval, a lot of unrest, whatever. They're saying, hey, don't do that. So, Henry and his brother are like, cool. We're going to go to America then. Okay. So Henry and his family, his brother, his parents, they just bop over to America. They're like, hey, fuck you, Germany, Prussia. We're going to hop over to America real quick so we can continue mining in America. They land in New York, and then eventually they'll like end up in California, right?
Yep.
1849.
California girls. Yeah.
Gold rush.
Carry on.
So they're in California, or at least Henry is at this point, right? In order, like, and they moved to the U.S. in order to avoid charges of, quote, illegal mining. It's their own yard. It's like basically their own backyard. And they just wanted the resources to go to the like war effort versus like the efforts being put into mining, essentially.
Okay.
So at that point, Henry goes in to join the Prussian army, and he does spend some time in the Prussian army, and then he moves to the Netherlands for a year, and then he meets his family back in the U.S. Like a year later. So his family leaves because of the illegal mining. He hits up the Prussian army, spends a year, discharges to the Netherlands, and then goes to the U.S. to spend time with his family. Okay. So they all end up in there. So he has grown up in this very mineral heavy place in life where mining and manufacturing were like the livelihood of everybody there. And he and his brother had been actively mining coal off of their family farm for a while, and with being in the army, he could see the benefits of, say, the gold or the coal or whatever. So this is a huge part of Henry's life at this point. And he becomes extremely interested in production and growth as he becomes older and older and into an adulthood. So in 1851, he is working for the Pacific Mail Steamship Company as a fireman, which is fabulous. And then by the time 1852 rolls around, he has found himself out in San Francisco, ready to dive head first into the gold rush, right? The gold rush in California happened right around 1849, right? 49ers, 49. And so 1852, he's like really kind of right at the beginning of this. And he's like, fuck yeah, man. Gold.
Literally.
So essentially, and honestly, that fuck man, gold. That is the mentality throughout the rest of this story, essentially.
Okay.
Right? So 11 years later, 1863. So between 52 and 63, he's mining and he's kind of just working kind of odd jobs and shit, right? Those 11 years kind of really don't count as far as the story goes. So by 1863, he's had enough of California, and he's like, I gotta find something else. And he starts to wander outside of fucking California, and he eventually makes his way to Arizona, into the portion which is now Maricopa County, Arizona. Have you... What's your face? Have you never heard of Maricopa County?
No. That's why I was shaking my head.
Maricopa County, I'm pretty sure the prison is closed now, but for the very longest time, and I really think that it closed only in the last maybe 5-10 years. They're the ones that had the prison with the tents and the pink underwear for their prisoners.
Nope.
Oh God, what's his name? Joe? Okay, hold on. Google Joe, Joe, ARPAIO.
Yeah.
This dude is... he's not fucking around. He's not fucking around. He's the one that, like, he was like, hey, you fucked around, you found out. Okay? He's not here for your fucking around.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not getting into him anymore,
Damn.
but this one, I'd love to, because he's a fascinating human. But anyways, so Henry here gets to Maricopa County, Arizona.
Do you know he died on his birthday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a bummer.
I honestly would love to die on my birthday. It's like a full circle then.
Sounds like a really shitty birthday.
My birthdays are never that good anyway.
At least you haven't died.
But I'm saying, if you think about it, you birth.
I'd like to die the day after.
No, I would not.
No, I want my birthday.
I don't.
I'm down for the day after. I want my birthday.
Ugh. I have like OCD and I want to die on my birthday. I need to have a full year in.
I have OCD.
But if I get like
I have
a full year in one day, I'm gonna die
I have
being like
I have severe
"Ah!"
diagnosed OCD, and I don't want to die on my birthday.
Okay, maybe it's
The day after
I
is
don't
fine.
know. But I'd be like dead and be like, God damn it! One day after my birthday? It's odd. The numbers are odd.
Out of 365 days, it is weird that the one day
See?
is just how it happens.
See? I want to know how he died.
Well, don't worry. Maybe I will do a whole episode, because I think that man is fascinating.
I love him. He died on his birthday.
Regardless, Maricopa County is the one that's the most famous for the prisoners having to wear, like, the pink underwear or garments and sleeping in tents and doing all the hard work and stuff like that.
Never heard of it, but okay.
And Maricopa County is actually where Phoenix is. So Henry, tired, not getting anywhere in California, wanders over to Arizona, ends up in Maricopa County. I don't know that it was Maricopa County at the time. I don't think it was. But it just so happens to be the county that Phoenix is based in, and Phoenix and the mine are only about an hour away. Okay, so legend has it that Henry Wickenburg was getting real frustrated during this little trip. Okay, he's getting real fucking mad because he's not finding anything. He wants to be the world's greatest gold hunter, essentially, and he's finding nothing. Arguably, though, what do you expect to find walking through the fucking desert?
Sand and pokey things.
At this point, though, who am I to judge? Because wow, does Henry find literally gold mine. So he's getting real fucking frustrated, and he's like, I want to turn back. I don't want to go on this trip anymore. Fuck this. Fuck you. We're done. Fuck it. We're turning around. So, quote, angrily threw a quartz rock at his stubborn pack mule, who was refusing to get up and walk, while a group of turkey vultures slowly circled above their heads. The rock missed the mule but broke open when it struck a nearby ledge of quartz. A glitter of reflected sunlight shone from the broken quartz caught Windenburg's attention. When he once again picked up the rock, he saw a small vein of gold run through it. So because of this small vein of gold, after this motherfucker picked up a rock and threw it at his donkey, he finds this massive gold mine.
Man, so that's all you gotta do is throw a rock at a donkey?
Jesus Christ. Like, I am not here for throwing things at animals, because, like, this donkey, he's probably just tired. He's just someone going further. He's just tired. Don't throw things at him. It's not his fault. You can't find shit.
That, or he's like the donkey on Shrek and he's just really annoying.
All alone. Nobody here beside me.
Oh,
So,
shoot.
anyways, regardless of whether Henry here threw the rock at his donkey or whether, they just kind of ended up there, one way or the other, um, Henry managed to find or discover what will eventually become Vulture Mine. So, regardless of whether the story of him throwing the rock or not is true, right? Because that's kind of like just legend. Um, the mine is found in this area, right? There's like some stories where he was just kind of panhandling in a little river location and he found it, or there's the rock, or whatever. He one way or the other he finds it. And he is deciding to try to keep this mine to himself. He's like, this place has so much fucking gold. It's during the gold rush. Nobody else is here. I want it all for myself, right? Well, it's the 1800s. It's not going to stay that way. No, no, no. Word spreads like fucking wildfire, right? So, quickly after, Vulture City is established, right? And this is right near the mine. It's around the same time, right? Because obviously it's not just him and his gold deposit. Now everybody is here. So now we have Vulture Mine and Vulture City, which is holding the people that have come to mine Vulture Mine. So at its peak, Vulture City had about 5,000 people, and at this time, the whole place is it's obviously a desert, right? Because we're in Arizona.
Yeah.
But it's shit. It's not good. So because of the desert, because we're in the desert, figuring out how to keep the community of Vulture City running is very difficult. So a man named Jack Swilling goes, "Hey, we got to figure out how to feed these fucking people." Right? So Jack finds some older like irrigation canals from previous Native American tribes, right? So there's these old ass or irrigation canals that haven't been used in years. So he finds those and he gets them started again. So he has the whole
What the fuck are you doing?
nothing. I thought I had something written down here and it's not. So now I know I wrote it. Okay. I know I wrote it, but because I went from like the notebook that I had versus what I was trying to rewrite it as, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of just two different places. So, okay. So, we have the mine, we have this little town that is springing up, right? And so they're trying to figure out how to make this profitable or how to make it livable, right? Because the desert fucking sucks and they have no agriculture. So Jack Swilling opens up these irrigation canals. And because of these canals, he is able to establish like an agricultural setting here in this desert that was not able to grow anything, right? So super duper cool, right? On
Yeah.
top of that, he was able to establish a grain route within the train systems, the railroad system, a grain route. And that route still exists today. And because of this route and the ability to have the agricultural systems that he put in place all those years ago, that's why we have Phoenix and the surrounding areas, because it provided all of the food and all of the water and all of the abilities to Phoenix to grow. And so regardless of how like important this mine would have been out anyway, like we have Phoenix and the surrounding cities because of Vulture Mine, which doesn't really have a
Dang.
whole lot it doesn't really have a whole lot to do with my story, but I just really thought that that was very neat how one dude got pissed at his donkey tossed a rock at it, and now we have Phoenix, Arizona, and the surrounding cities.
Jealous. I need to start throwing some rocks at donkeys. Christ.
Seriously, at that point, god damn.
Maybe I just throw a rock at BK. He's kind of like a donkey.
Maybe. I was gonna say Max, but poor boy.
No, I can't throw him. No.
He would be
Nah.
so sad. Okay. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
he
yeah,
doesn't deserve a rock.
I thought that was really interesting, regardless of whatever. But the history of that I thought was very interesting. Like, because this guy got frustrated and threw a rock and found all the gold deposits, we now have like Phoenix and the surrounding area
Yeah.
because that's what brought like irrigation and agriculture to the area. So I thought that was just really kind of cool.
Crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's like not part of the story, but I just thought it was cool when I was looking. So, between the years,
Everyone, welcome to having ADHD.
hush, I thought it was neat. Between the years of 1863 and 1942, the mine brought in more than 340,000 ounces of gold and 260,000 ounces of silver, which would, in today's money, be roughly $950 million of gold and $8.5 million of silver.
Wow.
So this mine, not only in being one of the most important, say, mines in Arizona, say because it brings in the agriculture and the irrigation, and it brings in things like Phoenix and the railroad, or the like railroad trains going through here, it is also bringing in a shitload of money. And it is being one of those things that is like instrumental in the creation of Arizona State as we know it right now.
Yeah, wow.
So because of that, Vulture Mine, Vulture City, is bringing in a lot of people. So now that we have kind of a little bit of the backstory as to like why it's important, why whatever, we're going to go back to the 1800s because, God damn it, the 1800s of it all is tough because, it's the 1800s, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So we're going to go back to Vulture Mine, Vulture City in its prime. Wickenburg, the guy that discovered the original thing, he's right there. He's right there loving all this, right? So back in the 1800s, the town, as you can probably imagine, is a vigilante town, right? There's no police. They don't fucking care. It's dealt with how we want to deal with it, right? Like,
Yeah.
sheriff who? No. You get to hang from a fucking tree. Whatever, right? So, as you can imagine, like a lot of the laws and safety regulations or whatever, like, it's nothing good, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So, all of the people there are like, cool, not my problem. We're going to turn a blind eye, but whatever. So, nearly 5,000 people are living in this area, mining the mine. And so, quote, miners often died in cave-ins while dozens were hung from the infamous hanging tree when they were caught stealing gold, end quote. So this place is like already just kind of leaning into being a horrible place, right? Like nothing good is happening here. We're stealing, people are being hung, all that stuff. So then Gloria Hinkle and her son Scott currently own the Wickenburg Legend and Ghost Tours, which is just like a little business in the area, right? They say, quote, we didn't have a lawman for years and years. We actually had 2 hanging trees, one in town and another out by the mine. It wasn't a very nice hanging either with the drop doors. This was much more gruesome. They would put the condemned man on a rock or on a mule and then kick it out from underneath them. And it could take between 2 minutes or 2 hours to die. So, you've got cave-ins in this area, right? Because it's like a mine. Like a lot of people do die. Mine accidents, they do happen in a lot. Like, unfortunately, mining is very dangerous, right? It's dangerous in 2024. In 1800, it is even more dangerous, right? So we've got all these people dying in the caves or in the mine from cave-ins, from violence, just from whatever, right? Now we have the people that are accused of stealing gold being hung from 2 different trees, apparently. And you don't have the drop doors, which means you're just having a donkey kicked out from underneath you and you just float there, essentially. Like, yeah, at least with
Why
the
is everything just coming back to a damn donkey?
well, at least with the drop door, it's gone immediately. And you can't try to like
Yeah.
stand on your tippy toes or something. But the way that these guys were doing it, your tippy toes were like an option to try to keep you up, you know? So that's, in my opinion, that's horrifying. So obviously they're like, we're going to keep doing this, right? We're going to keep prosecuting. We're going to keep hanging people. We're going to keep doing all of this. Nothing can go wrong. Nothing can go wrong, right? Because why would it?
Nah, I feel like something's
Oh
gonna
my
go
god.
wrong.
No, why would it go wrong? We have we have this mine coming up through the 1800s and like World War 1 and 2. The mine gets shut down in 1942 because all of the production efforts are supposed to be going towards the war, World War 2. And they are like, "Hey, we don't want to be shut down. Can we please reopen?" And the government goes, "Yeah, sure, go for it." Okay, so they have earned millions of dollars through gold and silver, but then they get shut down. And then they open back up because the government said, "Hey, yeah, go for it." And then they shut down like 2 years later and because they couldn't make anything because it's like, "Oh, well, maybe they took it all from us and we just couldn't kind of recover from that." So, that's where they're at
Yeah.
right now. Okay. So, as you can imagine, in a place like Vulture City, there are countless brothels and bars and banks and saloons and stuff like that, right? If you're thinking back into the 1800s, right? So you're back there. There are brothels. So this is like it's small town, like max 5,000 people living in Vulture City, which is servicing this mine, which is larger than my hometown,
Wow.
but still very, very small. Right. And most of that was miners, right? People mining. But a lot of the times they would bring their family or say just their wife or whatever uh to Vulture City with them, right? So they've been working in the mines all day long, right? And they have to do something after they get done with work, right? They have to go entertain themselves and it's the 1800s. They don't have TikTok. They can't just go home doom scroll on their phone or something. So they have to go and do something, which leads
Yeah.
to the creation of brothels. And in that same avenue, a ton, well, for 5,000 people, a ton of sex workers, right?
Okay, yeah.
Well, because all these men, they got to do something. And if these women are there too, that's the only way they can make money. You know, like, they're not
Yeah.
allowed to work in the mine, they're not allowed to have a job, they're not allowed to do anything else, that's the only way they can make money.
Ugh, God, I couldn't even imagine living there like that.
Well, honestly, though, like, I have been a stay-at-home mom for a lot of years now, and so the job that I do, I don't make a ton of money, um, which is fine, and it works, but I cannot imagine having the only way for me to bring in a couple extra dollars for my family, for my children or whatever. My only option is sex work. And I'm not saying anything bad about the people that do participate in sex work or whatever, because honestly, at this point, I think that we all have to agree that that's a legitimate form of income and work right at this point, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, sex work is a legitimate form of work at this point because between influencers or YouTube or OnlyFans or whatever, like, come on now. Y'all are paying their bills and nobody's looking twice at it. So sex work is legitimate in my opinion. Um, but in the 1800s, in the late 1800s, 60s through early 1900s, it's the only way that these women could make money. So the men were really enjoying having a lot of bars and a lot of brothels. Um, which I think everybody could have just pictured or imagined was that was where we're going next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um so there's a lot of those kinds of things in town. So ultimately, because the town is like a big vigilante problem, right? We've got people just deciding to hang people. We've got people hurting people. We've got thieving. We've got murder. Like, it's vigilante, so you could just essentially do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
And we've got brothels. And because of the brothels specifically, and I can talk about more about the rest of the crimes, but because of the brothels and because of the amount of people in town, even if you were not working at the brothel, people really did think that you owed them, even if you were not technically working at the brothel at the time, they thought you owed them. And so the number of reported rapes was very high because people thought just because you're not working, that doesn't mean anything. That's your job. That's your job. And you're like, I'm not working. And they went, I don't fucking care. That's your job. And so that was rapes and sexual assaults was very, very high. Robberies, murders, all of those like really violent crimes were through the fucking roof, right? And so clearly, just right there, right off the bat, you are getting a lot of really restless energy, right?
Yeah.
You're having these people kind of relive essentially the worst parts of their life. Like, even if you are a sex worker, that does not mean you deserve to be raped on the street, right? Or raped in an alley and killed in an alley, right? Like, so throughout the town, you're having all of these horrible, horrible things take place where all of these souls are uncomfortable, essentially, right? And not put to rest. And like I said, the town is very small, 5,000 max. Um, and we have the brothels, we have banks that were um robbed very often, very frequently. The banks were robbed, so like you'd have all the bank robbers and all the stuff like that. So there's stuff like that. So, because of all of the unsettled business that's there, right? You have all of these women who have been sexually assaulted. Like, even if they're comfortable in their job as a sex worker in a brothel, you can, like, the sounds are kind of still there, right?
Yeah.
If you're banging, you're making sounds, positive
Naturally.
or negative, positive or negative. Yeah, one way or the other. Like, and so you have like them in the brothels. You have men in the mines who, like, the walls are caving in, the ceiling. One of the sources that I read, and I don't remember where I read it. The people at these mines were literally trying to, like, mine the supports in the caverns because they found gold in the supports. So they're like, "Hey, we're gonna that's in the support there. I don't fucking care. I'm gonna get that gold out." And then somebody else is like, "Hey, maybe that is supporting the ceiling. Don't do that." And they're like, "I don't fucking care." And then they were like trying to get it out of the support beams. And then all of a sudden, oh my god, what would happen? But it would just cave in. Odd. Odd how that would happen, huh?
Yeah, I don't think that is mm,
Maybe don't mind the support beams.
apparently they didn't play any games at Tetris growing up.
So we have hundreds of violent attacks against specifically women and specifically those in sex work. Violent, violent attacks with multiple leading to murder. We have mines caving in and killing many, many miners. We have the hanging tree. So if you're just suspected of stealing, you have a rock kicked out from underneath you and you just hang for 2 hours. Like, the amount of pain and that is just on, like, the major reasons that people were killed. Like, that's not even counting the number of people that were just getting into, like, regular fist fights over shit, or, you know, neighborhood brawls, or, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like rape and stealing and being hung by the hanging tree and all that. I feel like that kind of can all fall under, like, one category, right? So that sounds like there's, like, a bunch of them, but it's all kind of one story, where it's like you don't know that the neighbor, your neighbor, and all of a sudden your neighbor decides to kill you because you looked at his dog funny or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like the number of people just in general that were killed or hurt or whatever in this area is massive. It's 5,000 people total living there, but oh my god, there's so many more people that were there. Um so as a basic thing, we'll just go ahead and say throughout the entire town, Vulture Creek, nope, Vulture City is a ghost town now. Nobody lives there. It is owned by a private property, and they do offer um like tours and stuff. So a private company does offer tours. They do own Vulture City. Don't go there. Don't trespass. Don't do any of that. Um Throughout the whole town, you can hear footsteps, voices, whispers. You can feel touches, like all kind of the basic what you would imagine from a haunting, right?
Yeah.
The whispers, the touch, the quick touch, the breath in your ear, you know, whatever. You can also hear, so if you they do, like, almost like they have done a really good job saving the buildings or preserving the buildings. Okay, so most of the buildings there are still, like, the preserved buildings that were there in the 1800s. Um so you can still see, like, say, where the brothels were, the bar or the bank or stuff like that. So from the brothels, you can, which were normally, say, like a 2-story building, and the brothel was taking place on the 2nd story, you can hear like screaming from the 2nd stories of these brothels, and a lot of sex noises from the 2nd stories of these brothels, which is unsettling to me because I don't want to be walking down the street of anything and hearing like sex screaming.
I mean, if I have to hear any kind of screaming, that might be the screaming I would prefer.
That's a good point. Arguably, if I'm going to hear screaming, but I my thing is I hope they were having a good time and
Yeah,
not
I was
a
thinking good.
bad
I was thinking
time.
good. That's where I would.
I hope it's good. I hope it's good. If I'm hearing sex screaming, I want it to be happy and consensual and enjoyable.
Yep, that's that's the only.
However,
Yeah,
it is the 1800s, and I don't think that's the case,
no.
arguably, unfortunately. So I don't want to be. You can still walk down the streets and stuff of Vulture City and see all these brothels and see all the bars and stuff. I don't want to be walking down the street of Vulture City and hear like awful, painful, like screaming from the brothels upstairs. I don't like that.
No.
It makes me sad. Even if it is residual, like, because there's residual hauntings, which is like just the spirits replaying moments that they've already replayed, right? Or there's the like intellectual ones where it's like they can react to you. So you hear a lot of footsteps, voices. You can sometimes you can hear like cowboy boot buckles clinking as you're like typical Western ghost spooky haunted places where you can hear like the cowboy boots clink or shit like that, right? It's very stereotypical about what you can hear here,
Yeah.
right? The brothels being in the street, you can obviously hear screaming, or you can just hear typical sex noises, which I hope all of it is consensual, but it's probably not because the number of like rapes and violent crimes is it's undocumented because there were so many and there was no way to keep track of it. So the screaming that you're going to hear is probably not, say, consensual sex. So one or the other. So then you get to the hanging tree, and remember that woman said there were 2 hanging trees, right?
Yeah.
One in town and one out by the mine. So at both of these hanging tree locations, you can hear moaning, just like moaning and pain and screaming and struggling. So you could hear like the people, like when the rock is kicked out from underneath you and it's not quite enough to drop you all the way. You can hear that like struggling, like trying to breathe or trying
Yeah.
to catch your footing or what. It's fucking horrifying, isn't it?
Ugh. Yeah.
So you can hear like that kind of a sound is like those screaming, like all of those pain, kind of really frustrated. You know the sounds that I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. I don't need a description.
Quote, in the assay office. So the assay was kind of like the bank kind of place. The assay office was kind of like the bank. I don't know what assay actually means, but essentially it was like the bank with the with the like the safe in the back of it, basically. So in the assay office out there in the corner is a very negative feel, and they captured a little voice saying, "Get out."
Oh.
She also says cold spots are felt frequently around there, even if it's 105 degrees. And it's Arizona, so if it's 105 degrees, that's completely normal. But if you're hearing, "Get out," and all of a sudden it gets really fucking cold, I'm out. I'm fucking
I'm gonna
out.
get out.
I'm out. I'm out. You got it. You win.
Bye.
Bye.
Fuck that.
No, God, can you
Mm-mm.
imagine? That's fucking.
Oh my god, though. I mean, mm-mm. I don't know. If I was with people, I'd probably be like, "Was that you?" And I wouldn't believe them because I'm a dumbass and I just carry on.
If you heard something go, get out,
Yeah, but if
it
you're
would
with
fucking matter.
people,
I don't think it would matter. I'd be like, great,
shit.
great, I'm out. Fuck, I'm out.
I'm just saying. Oh my gosh. That if we were just like in a group of people, I suppose we'd all probably react the same way, though.
Cool, cool, cool. Bye. See you later.
Adios, amigo.
Um, Another one of the tales that is leading to more haunted, spooky stories of the town is the story of Jimmy Davis. He got his arm caught in a piece of machinery, and because he was unable to get his arm out, he was kind of flung around in this piece of machinery and essentially like ripped to shreds
Blech.
because his arm is in it, and it's just kind of like whipping him around, right?
Yeah.
So eventually breaks every bone in his body, and he is then dropped down dozens of feet into a mine shaft. So the ghost of Jimmy Davis is still said to haunt the mines, and his voice can be heard crying for help in the middle of the night, where he's like say like essentially crying for people to say stop whatever that machine that he was caught in, or come down and help me because I'm stuck down here in the mine or whatever. But you can hear him frequently in the middle of the night crying for help.
Nope. No.
No. Can you imagine being caught in a piece of mining equipment or machinery and just being flung around until every body and a bone in your body breaks?
That'd
And
be
then you're,
such a miserable death.
oh my God, and then you're just like end up in the bottom, like hundreds of feet down in the mine shaft. Nobody can save you. Nothing is gonna happen. Like, you're just down there.
That's a
So the
dumb.
ghost, it sounds so painful.
I don't know. Painful
And
is
like,
like the word that can fully cover that.
my bleeding heart would want to help him. And it would make me feel really bad that I couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
being out there in the middle of the night or whatever, like exploring and just hearing him like moan in pain would really bother me, I think. Not just because it's like, oh, I'm scared because this spooky thing happened. It would be like, oh God, I want to help him because,
Yeah.
oh my God. So supposedly Jimmy still haunts these mines, and his voice can be heard crying all of the time, basically. There are, like I said, there were the miners that would like mine the support beams, right?
Yeah.
And cause the cave-ins so you can clearly hear their screams, right? They're mining the support beams, and all of a sudden, oh my God, it caves in. Who would have fucking thought? Ah, help us. Like, hey, homie,
What the fuck do
don't
you
mind
think
the
was gonna
fucking support
happen?
beam.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so you can hear the screaming, the voices, as far as like them getting stuck down there goes. They're like, Tony, stuck down here forever. And then you can just hear like another ghost going, hey, Charlie, I told you, don't do that. Like, so it's like sometimes you got to feel bad for him, right? Like Mr. Jimmy here. who has been whipped around by all this equipment and thrown down dozens of flights of the mine. But then there's the ones that have like mined the support beams and they're like, oh my God, I don't understand how we got stuck down here. You're like, really?
I
Really? You
wonder.
don't know how you got stuck down here? And you're still
Hmm.
hearing both of them. You're still hearing both of them like scream and moan and complain the entire time, right? I'm really, really only interested in going to try to find out what happened to one of those, though. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be like, if I'm down there and I hear, help us, and I'm gonna be like, is this maybe something that you've done to yourself?
You fucked
Because if
around and you found out.
you fucked around and you found out, I'm gonna go help Jimmy. It's not his fault that he's down here. You, on the other hand, I guess you're down here for forever.
Ah.
You can also, there are a lot of times where you can see like full body apparitions wandering around the hanging trees. So it's either yeah, you can either see like the people who are like the workers, um who are the executioners basically, who are the ones leading them up and putting the noose on and dropping them down. Like you can see their full body apparitions. You can also see the um people who have been killed on these trees. You can see them like pacing nervously around it. And I don't know what's more unsettling, watching like nervous pacing or like watching somebody not be nervous. You know, like in the way that like this one person is leading another person up to be hanged by this tree, right? And they're confident in that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's more unsettling, watching this person walk up with confidence to hang somebody from this tree or watching somebody like pace in a like if you're seeing like a full body apparition, which do you think would be more uncomfortable? One just pacing like, "Oh my gosh, my turn is next. I'm going to be hung next." Or one being like, "Fuck yeah, man. Get your ass up here. We're going to drop you in about 2 seconds."
I think the pacing is unsettling, but
Pacing is so unsettling.
but the people who don't have an issue with killing somebody is more, it's, I mean, it's unsettling, but it's not. It's
It's
more than
so unsettling.
unsettling.
Being okay with that is
It's
it's it takes a
what's the,
special person and sometimes
yeah.
and and it's one of those things where it does take a special kind of a person to be good with that. Um in my head I think a lot about say like hunting. So I have when I go hunting with Patrick and his one of his best friends every time that we can, right? And neither one of them have a problem pulling the trigger if they but I will sit there and I will take the extra time and I will take the extra breaths and I will like before I think about pulling the trigger because in my head I have a harder time pulling the trigger than they do where they'll just you know take a couple shots at a deer, you
Yeah.
know, where I'm like I just want to do one and done. I want it to like not be a thing. I want it to not see it coming. I want it to just bloop,
Yeah.
you know, whereas they're like we'll put two or three of them into this deer obviously at that point to put it out of its misery or whatever, but it's like I it really takes me a long time to like and kind of talk myself into it. So it's like I feel like when people are like executing people, it needs to happen sometimes, okay?
Yeah.
I do think that there are people that it is meant for. I think we use it too much, but I do think that there are times where it might be. like Ted Bundy, okay? He obviously did it. He's not getting out of it. He's not going to stop. He's not going to not be a fucking problem if he ever gets out of jail. He's going to be a problem in jail because he broke out of jail and killed 4 people. But
Classic.
so like people like that, but fucking Ted Bundy. But like so like stuff like that, it's like this really is kind of the quote unquote best way to alleviate this problem or this man or whatever, right? But like say people like Samuel Little. He killed more people than Ted Bundy did, but they didn't go for he died in prison, but they didn't go for the death penalty for him because they thought they could get something out of him and they thought they could ask him questions. And unfortunately, he did die before that happened. But it's like there's really a fine line in my head as to where death penalty and maybe just sit in jail for a while goes. And so stuff like the hanging tree really bothers me because in my head, things like shit that happens in the 1800s, what did they do? And who's going to say that they actually did it? Like, oh my God, I didn't steal all your gold out of your wagon. This guy did. Well, who's going to say that this guy did or not? No, I did. It's really in that time. It's really he says, she says, in my opinion. And so it's like, but they were so happy to just
Adios, amigo.
toss you off the cliff. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so you can hear a ton of screaming and essentially like begging and struggling, like they're like kind of I mean it's ghostly, it's haunted, it's whatever, but you can kind of hear the whole like please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't kind of a thing, or the struggling to like yeah. And like I said, it's ghosts, so you can only hear so fucking much of it. But yeah, so you can hear all of these things. Oh. Hold on, Jimmy just got worse. Okay. I found something for Jimmy. Remember Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of the most infamous ghosts is that of Jimmy Davis. Quote, Jimmy was a hardworking man, well known amongst his colleagues for getting the job done right. One day, while Jimmy was working in the mines, the pulley system malfunctioned. Jimmy got up on the ladder to fix the belt when his arm got stuck in the loop of the pulley. The belt tightened when he tried to get out, and Jimmy was launched several feet in the air with his arm still stuck in the loop. His body smashed into multiple pieces of the heavy machinery, breaking every bone in the man's body, before dumping his body hundreds of feet down into the central mine shaft. The worst part.
The worst part?
Oh, it gets worse.
It gets worse. Fudge nuts.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Oh, it gets worse. The worst part was that Jimmy wasn't killed right away. It took more than 5 hours for Jimmy to die. He was crying and begging for mercy, being in excruciating pain, but it was no use. His body was too far down to be recovered.
No.
So he fell hundreds. His body was ripped apart. And he fell hundreds of feet down into this shaft, but they couldn't get to him. There was no way for him to get anybody to get to him.
He just suffered.
5 hours.
And at that point, you can't even put yourself out of your misery because
5
you
hours.
can't move.
He suffered.
Yeah, so you can't even like.
You're broken.
Take a fucking
You're
rock
broken.
to your head
Everything's
or something.
broken.
I don't know.
And honestly, at that point, it's like you know that the people above you, that like your coworkers and everything, want to help you, but they can't get to you. And they can't get to you, but you are in so much fucking pain. And you can't do anything to help yourself either. And so it's like just this endless.
No thanks. Mm-mm.
God. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense as to why you can still hear a
Yeah?
shitload of screaming and suffering, right? Um, his blood-curdling screams can still be heard echoing through the mine, though some have heard cries for help in other parts of Vulture City grounds. So it sounds like he can be heard elsewhere as well, just like crying for help, basically. But then it's like mostly the screaming is in this one specific spot. But then, do you want me to make it worse?
Oh, God. Sure.
Others claim to hear the sounds of the pulley machine whipping around as if it was malfunctioning and Jimmy was still attached to it.
No.
Paranormal investigators claim to have discovered Jimmy's spirit hanging around the mine's powerhouse, and his ghost has been seen at the entrance to the mine on multiple occasions. The hanging tree is said to have been the burial site of dozens of men who were condemned after being caught red-handed. 18 men were hung from the hanging tree, but it's not known if they were all buried there. Is it better or worse if they were like buried there? Because honestly, if it feels like in this in the 1800s of it all, it feels like if they were hanged there, they should be buried there,
Or were they actually buried?
right? But if they weren't buried there, where were they buried? I mean, they are in the fucking Arizona desert. They got coyotes. What are they gonna do? Feed them the coyotes? A particularly prosperous area near the head of the mine called the Glory Hole.
That's
Let's
not
just take a
that's
second
not
for
the
that.
glory hole I've heard of.
It's something that it's not a name that I would have got. I would have maybe called it something else, I think, if I wanted it to be taken seriously. The Glory Hole is not
No.
okay, not what I would have called it. Anyways, so the Glory Hole was the site of one of the main like entrances or the main places where they were digging in the mine for ore. Not like gold or silver, but like they were specifically digging at the Glory Hole for ore.
I can't take that seriously. I
Stop it
can't.
right now. ORE.
I got
Ore.
that. It's a glory hole.
I just I can't help that because that's just what it's called. I can't help it. So they're looking for ore. They're looking for ore at the Glory Hole, Chelsea.
Most people don't look for that there.
Nothing good. Or do they?
And this, oh my God, shut up.
Delete that. Jesus fucking Christ, delete that. That was so stupid. This is the dumbest fucking episode.
Yeah, we're not doing good today.
The miners would come out around sunset and dig out the remaining ore near the support beams. First of all, don't touch the support beams. If
Why
you're
are they
supposed to
not
go in
learning their
there,
damn lessons?
if you're supposed to be in there, don't dig the support beams. Look, I don't care if it's literally dripping gold from the walls. That fucking wall is holding it up so you don't get collapsed into this fucking room. Don't touch it.
Seriously.
Be smart. Collapse it from the inside out, right? That way back there. You collapse that one first, then you collapse this one, then you collapse that. You collapse them on the inside out, right? You're not just sitting
Yeah.
here being like, oh my God, look at all that gold. I'm going to take it. And people are like, hey, Clyde, I don't think you should be digging that out. And Clyde is like, fuck you, I'm going to dig it out because it's gold. Look at all this gold. Everybody's like, bad things are going to happen, man. Bad things are going to happen. Clyde doesn't care. After a while, I'm going to have to read this sentence, and I know you're not going to take it seriously.
Probably
All right,
not.
ready? Okay, so Glory Hole. They're looking for ore. After a while, there was no rock to support the beams, and the Glory Hole collapsed. trapping and killing 7 men and 12 donkeys. The bodies are still there to this day. It's so dangerous they can't even go retrieve the bodies to this day.
That is a dangerous glory hole. Why they gotta take the donkeys down with them?
12! 12 of them! How do you
What?
feel about saying that?
Why?
How do you feel about saying
Donkeys
that
in
out
the
loud?
glory hole?
That's a dangerous glory hole.
Ha!
Yeah, the bodies are still there to this day, which means a lot of people believe that their ghosts are still haunting this area, which yeah, of course they are. Of course they are, right? Um Quote, the apparitions can be seen around the head of the mine, and witnesses report unusual cold spots and feelings of being watched. And I'm telling you, I cannot stand the idea of being watched. The idea of being watched or just feeling like I'm being watched,
I hate that feeling.
it's far too much for me. Honestly. Honestly, being watched is I'm sending this video really quick to you. Um it's BuzzFeed Unsolved. So Ryan and Shane make their way there. Okay. And I love them. I love them. I sent you the video.
We were watching it for a little while and then we didn't watch it
I sent
again.
you the video. Anyway, so they went to Vulture Creek or Vulture Mine and investigated. And listen, in the show, Ryan is like a big baby, and Shane is like a non-believer. So it'd be like me and Patrick going in and trying to figure something out, right? I'm like, oh my god, did you hear that? And Patrick would be like, dude, that was a mouse. Relax, fucking breathe. That was you. You dumbass. You coughed and you scared your fucking self.
He he would definitely say that too.
But no, there was one where they were like they were in one of the buildings here. And if you watch this, you'll see. I don't remember which building. I didn't write it down. They're standing in like it's like one of the like one room schoolhouses or something like that, right? And there's a closet there. And Shane, the one that is a skeptic, is standing like with his back to the closet door, and then Ryan is like looking at him or whatever. And the one closet door starts opening towards Shane, and he is a skeptic, right? He's like, there's a reasonable explanation for this, but at that point, he just goes, he's like standing next to it and going, looking at him, being like, that door is absolutely fucking opening. That door is opening, man. I don't know. I can't, like, I'm not explaining it right now, but he's like such a skeptic that for him to sit there and be like, that door is fucking opening next to me, that door is opening. It's creepy. I think it
Yeah.
looks beautiful. I want to go.
I do, not after hearing everything you just said.
You don't want to hear footsteps?
No. No.
Chelsea, have you never heard footsteps on stairs before?
Probably. I don't know, man.
Probably.
I have to deal with Michael laughing in the middle of the night and talking, so you know what? Footsteps on the stairs?
All
Whatever.
right, well you're in your 30s. Have you never heard like footsteps on the stairs before?
Not at a point in my life I can remember, but I'm sure when we lived in the farmhouse, probably.
Hmm. 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 Yeah, probably. Huh. Interesting. I don't know. I got to the point where like hearing people walk up and down my stairs was so normal that it's odd that it got to the point where it was so like hearing stuff like that was so normal to where I didn't even think twice about it. You know what I mean? Like that's how often we heard stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really remember anything like that.
So I think that I could get if we were to go to say Vulture Mine here, I think that it is in the desert of Arizona. Okay, so the number of bugs and bats, I think that would bother me more than spirits.
Yeah. Yeah, all the creatures would be,
It would be the icky critters that would bother me more
yeah,
than anything.
I agree. Because I mean, like the spirits and the sound, they can't actually do anything to you. But a
Well, I don't know
fucking,
because like in this case, if that one piece of machinery still sounds like it's winding around or whatever that ripped Jimmy Davis to pieces. What if you got too close to that?
okay, but I don't think that's actually functioning still. I think it's just the sound that's like haunting the area.
You willing to test it out?
I mean, it is warm there, so I'd probably choose going there over staying here if that was my option.
Cool, cool, cool.
You could,
I think we need to go to Maricopa County, babe.
no,
And I'm going to make you stand next to that piece of machinery that ripped Jimmy Davis's arm off and flung him down 100 feet of mine shaft.
yeah, how many years ago?
1800s.
Yeah.
So a long time ago,
See,
but
I think I'm
you
good.
can still hear the sound. You can still hear the sound.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna get me.
Listen, you don't know that. Maybe I'll throw something at you because you're being sassy.
Yeah, probably throw a fucking boulder at me.
We can only hope.
I mean, I'm kind of, I mean, I'm an ass. I'm just not a donkey version of an ass.
All right, Henry Wickenburg. Throw a big ass rock at Chelsea.
Maybe if you throw a rock at me when we're there, we'll find
Can I
gold.
throw a rock at you right now? Hold on. I'm coming into town tomorrow with a big ass rock and I'm just going to throw it at you. Hey, Chelsea, do you want to have lunch? Yeah, sure, fantastic. Wham!
Hey, do you want to go trick or treating together? JK!
I've got a big ass, massive boulder that I'm ready to just kick out of my car at you.
You're fucking like dressed up as Donkey
No.
Kong carrying fucking
No,
rocks
I'm still going
around.
to be dressed up as a chicken. This is my only costume.
Oh my god. Are you actually gonna wear that tomorrow?
I wore this on this weekend, yeah. I went to a party at a bar like this. Anyways, throughout Vulture Mine, you can hear screaming and crying and begging people for like to help. You cannot go into the like mine shafts anymore. They're all shut off for safety reasons because they've all collapsed and killed literally thousands of people.
Wow, I thought I could have went in there.
Nope, you can't.
Damn.
Well, I mean, if you
I'm just
wanted to, I
kidding. I'm
guess you're gonna
kidding.
really be
I'm
bummed,
kidding.
I think. But so you
I'm
can hear,
kidding.
like I said, you can hear whining, crying, screaming, shouting. You can hear sex noises. You can hear people apparently having their arms ripped off and flung down.
Okay, well,
You can
we'll go
hear
back to sex noises, please.
that is the least problematic sound, I think, in this whole story.
Yeah, I think I'd rather hear that, but I'm going with consensual on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Consensual sex noises I will take any
Over
day
an arm being ripped off. Eek.
over like begging please don't hurt me or whatever. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No.
Or doors opening. I d- I did grow up in a place where hearing footsteps walk up and down the stairs was really normal. Um I've probably said it before, but like the home that I grew up in was actually a funeral home that was like redone to be a house. Um so the basement of my house was where they would do embalming and stuff. And then
Yay.
and then you walk up the stairs and you're in my kitchen. Um So you could hear a lot of steps up and down my stairs, like from my basement to my kitchen, as I was growing up. And it's unsettling if you're home alone, but kind of easy to get used to, if you know what I mean. Like if you hear it so
Yeah,
many
I
times.
yeah, it's one of those things that just grows on you and you don't even know it's going on anymore.
Yeah, and my dad always my dad named the ghost Hannah. And so if you went,
Yeah, I don't
Hannah,
like that.
stop. If you would go, Hannah, stop it, the door would stop moving, or like you would stop hearing footsteps. It was really weird. Hannah, stop. And the door wouldn't open, but like the door would open on and off, and like you could hear footsteps up and down. And we had this big, at the bottom of the stairs, we had this big plywood door that you would have to like actually like remove in one piece. And if it just wiggled a
Really?
little, what? Yeah,
Really?
yeah. and
Huh.
and it just wiggled just a little bit. You could hear it like wiggle because it was like fitted to it was fitted on the inside to like fit in the frame that it was sitting in.
Oh, so it was a sliding door.
No, it was just a
No?
big piece of plywood that you could yank out of it, but it had like a frame on the inside of the plywood that would fit inside the door. Does that make
So it was a
sense?
makeshift sliding door.
It was a makeshift door, but it didn't slide. You just
So I'm
yanked it out.
that's yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's sliding is by quotations.
Sure.
We're rolling
But
with it.
every now and then you could hear it like wiggling, like it was trying to open. Cause you could hear like it's cement. It was cement, and then it was like a 2x4 kind of rubbing against it because it was like jammed in there. And yeah, but
No.
if you went, Hannah, knock it off, a lot of it would stop. So
Do you think your dad actually knew maybe that was her actual name and he like knew the story and like
I don't. Well,
did
no, I think that he was. No, I don't think my dad knew that. I don't think my dad knew anything. I think he just one day was like, I have heard this so many times, like while the kids are at school or while they're at their moms, because obviously we were gone for weeks or weeks at a time at our moms. And he's like, I can hear enough of this and I don't have an answer for this. And I have no idea where the hell he got the name Hannah.
that's what makes me wonder if he actually knew the true story. It's something he would probably figure out and not tell anybody just because he didn't think it was
Listen, if I was not allowed to
useful.
use a Ouija board, I was not allowed to use a Ouija board in my house. So
Yeah, because
if
your dad
that
knew all the
man, oh
backstory.
God, if that man used a Ouija board in the house and wow,
I
I'm gonna
don't
find him
think
in the
that's what he
afterlife.
did.
No, I'm gonna
You
find him in
probably
the
could have.
afterlife. I'm gonna yell at him. First of all, I
You
hope
could
he finds
probably
Hannah. I hope he finds Hannah
see
so when I
he
get out there, I can talk to her.
see, and I wonder if like I don't know. There has to be a story. He has to know.
I don't know. I don't know. I it's in my opinion, it's like one of those things where I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's perfectly normal." Cuz I grew
Yeah.
up that way, but then it's like, "Oh yeah, I grew up in a converted funeral home and when we moved in, there were tools in the basement that maybe shouldn't have been there because they were made for something else. And then there were these really weird plaster masks, and maybe it shouldn't
I
have all
mean,
been there. And like, yeah. There was like literally when we were walking through the house, there was like a spot where they were like, "Hey, yeah, you're gonna buy this, so this is like your house, this is all your shit. Everybody that's lived here before you and all of the like they haven't moved any of this stuff, so I wouldn't move any of this stuff if I were you guys." And we went, "Okay, we're gonna throw it in the garbage."
seems right.
So yeah, no, I and it's kind of like one of those never have I ever things. Never have I ever lived in a haunted funeral home, right? Well,
See,
I
that's
don't
what
get to
makes me
put my
wonder though.
finger down for that.
You know, I, because funeral homes are generally like not actually haunted because they don't, the people that are dead don't die there. You know?
No, but it is weird when you have like your dining room table where the original show
That,
area was.
yeah, and I get that. But I'm just thinking, he had, your dad had to have known something. I'm going with it.
Well,
He knew, he knew something and he just never told anybody.
all right. So that is our story. All of these haunted, spooky, creepy stories. I think that I don't like hearing I don't like hearing screams or begging for help. That really bothers me. What do you think?
Yeah, that bothers me too. And I also, I mean, I would definitely choose sex noises over those, but in the middle of nowhere, probably not. I'd prefer not to hear
Oh my
anything.
gosh. Oh my gosh, can you imagine just walking down like the main street of this ghost town hearing like sex noises?
I'd be like,
I
what the hell is in these buildings banging?
All I can hope for at that point is it's consensual.
Yeah.
But then
You
man, I hope
want
they're having a great time. I hope they are having a great time because they probably deserve it. So,
Oh my god. Yeah.
so yep. So that's my story. All haunted and spooky. Vulture Mine. They
Halloweeny
do.
episode.
Yep. They do tours, so you can like literally vulturemine.com or .org or whatever it is. I'll find it and I'll put it in the notes. They have like there's like dozens of like multiple websites of like Vulture City, Wickenburg, and oh god, there's one other town that's right there that are like the tourist or Wickenburg tourism or Vulture City tourism or whatever. It's like, hey, we have nothing for tourism because this town is a literal ghost town and nobody's here. But if you pay us $25, we will take you on a tour through this town,
Seems
which I would
right.
certainly pay. I would absolutely pay $25 to go
Yeah,
on
you would.
a I would make you pay $25 too
You're
to
gonna
go
be
with me.
no, you're gonna be paying 50 for me and you.
That's
I ain't
fine.
paying no $25.
1,000% I would pay that
I
for you to
know.
go with me.
I know. But then we'd have to
And it's
bring
like,
Michael.
actually, I'm not paying for you. I'm paying for Michael. Me and him are going instead.
Deal.
He is
Deal.
going to be so much more fun to ghost hunt with.
Probably.
Him and I are just going to be like, we're going to be like, hey, Chelsea, Pat, we're going to get a hotel room in this haunted hotel. And it's only got one bed, but don't worry. Neither one of us are going to be sleeping. We're just going to be in the corner shitting our brains out because something flushed our toilet or whatever.
Oh my god.
Like Michael and I are going to
You say that now.
share a hotel room and the Michael and I are going to share a hotel room and it's going to be in the like most platonic, scared, unattractive way. Like nothing is happening because we're shitting our pants in front of each other.
We are on a tangent again. We really need to end this.
I thought we stopped a long time ago.
No. We definitely didn't.
Bye. Follow us on Facebook.
Everything. There's the
Chelsea,
link
help.
tree. Click on the link tree. Everyone knows the whole trail by now, I would hope. Just help us download, like, subscribe, all that. Support us.
And I've gotten one I got one really interesting topic to research that I am hoping to get to soon. So if you have an idea of a topic or something like that, I would love it if you could just email it to us. Like I said, I got one that I'm kind of working through right now.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's the one that Nick sent us.
Oh,
Remember?
sweet.
Do you
Yeah,
remember what it is?
I do.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I've heard of them, but I didn't ever do research on it, so now I'm
It's
excited.
it's terrifying. It's honestly one of the scariest things ever, in my opinion. So Nick
Yeah.
sent it to us a while ago, and I've been slowly but surely researching it, but I can only look at it for so long before I'm creeping myself out. So if you have any topic suggestions or anything like that, please send them to us, and I would love to research them.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Hmm. Also, Nick, if you're listening, I'm working on it. I swear to God.
All right. And that is it for our Halloween episode.
Happy Halloween. Stay safe, everybody.
Eat your kids' candy. Adios, amigos.
Bye.
Bye.